I want you to picture a moment.
Yeah.
It's a moment that happens fast, like really fast, usually in the space between one breath and the next. You're standing across from someone new. Maybe it's a potential partner, a new boss, I don't know, someone you've just met at a party. And all of a sudden, your body, it just knows them.
That instant electric click.
Right. It's not your memory working, and it's definitely not your intellect, Annalie.
No.
It's visceral. Maybe a tightening in your throat, or a flicker of rage that seems to come out of absolutely nowhere. Or maybe it's this sudden, inexplicable softening, like a surrender you didn't even choose to make.
It is one of the most powerful experiences we have as humans, and, we usually completely misinterpret it.
How so?
We call it chemistry or love at first sight or, on the flip side, bad vibes, intuition.
We think it's our gut telling us the truth about them. But what we're diving into today suggests it's something much deeper and honestly, a little more unsettling. It's described as a tremor in the architecture of your being. You've never seen this person before, yet you feel like you've been waiting for them your entire life.
That is a haunting way to put it, and so accurate.
So today, we're unpacking this unseen script that runs our relationships. We're talking about transference, and we are not just skimming the surface here. We're going right into the engine room of the unconscious.
We are, and we need to clear something up right away. When we talk about transference, or as Freud first called it, Übertragung, this isn't just some dusty, dry clinical term for a therapist's office.
Right.
It's actually, well, you could argue it's the fundamental structure of every single human encounter. It's the way our unconscious mind insists on restaging old family dramas on the blank screen of the present moment.
Which, when you really sit with that, is a terrifying concept. It basically says that when I meet someone new, I'm not actually meeting them.
You're not, at least not at first. The new person enters your life as what you could call a vessel.
A vessel.
Yeah, think about that image. They are empty, neutral, unknowing. And into that vessel, your psyche pours its oldest, most buried contents. They become the father, they become the mother, the witness you never had.
So the present moment just collapses.
Completely. You cease to be the adult you think you are, the one who pays taxes and uses logic and makes rational choices. You slip backward through time. And the relationship isn't between two adults in a room. It is, and I love this line, between a ghost and a stagehand who does not know he is wearing a costume.
That image really stuck with me. The stagehand who doesn't know he's wearing a costume. I mean, it implies a profound unfairness to the other person. We're handing people scripts they've never even read, aren't we?
We're handing them a script, shoving them onto a stage, and then getting angry when they don't know the lines.
Or when they ad-lib and just act like themselves.
Exactly. So let's talk about the mechanics here, because there's this incredible metaphor of the double doorway. Can you walk us through how that works? I think it helps to visualize it.
It's a really powerful way to see that collapse of time you just mentioned.
Okay, so imagine you are standing in a hallway. You see a door in front of you. That's the present. It's a new relationship, a fresh start, a clean slate. You reach for the handle, but the moment you make contact, a second door one that was totally invisible swings open right behind the first one.
And through that second door comes the past.
Through it steps a figure from another time. The face is different, sure. The new person might have a beard or different colored eyes or a different accent. But the posture of authority, it's identical to your father's. The way they avert their eyes when they're stressed. It mirrors your mother's retreat into silence.
So you think you've walked through one door, but really you've walked through both at the same time.
Physically and emotionally, yes. Simultaneously.
And the tricky part is, this isn't a conscious thought, right? I'm not standing there thinking, gee, his conflict avoidance reminds me of my dad.
No, and that's so critical to understand. If you were thinking it, it wouldn't be transference, it would just be a memory. Transference is somatic, it's physical. The body recognizes the pattern long before the mind ever builds a story around it.
Right, there was that specific detail about the timbre of a voice that really hit home for me.
Yes. You might feel a constriction in your chest when a partner raises their voice. Now, logically, your brain knows they're just excited about a football game.
Or annoyed about traffic.
Right. But your body hears the frequency of a childhood admonishment. It hears danger.
It's bypassing the logic center entirely.
Exactly. The body is the archive. Or think about that collapse of energy when a partner withdraws, goes quiet.
Oh, I think a lot of people relate to that one. The silent treatment can feel so disproportionately painful. Like world-ending painful.
Because in transference, that silence isn't just an annoyance. It mirrors early emotional starvation. Your body goes into a state of emergency because it remembers what that silence meant when you were 5 years old.
Abandonment.
It meant abandonment. It meant essentially death to a child who needs that caregiver to survive. The body carries this archive of trauma right there in its muscles.
So we're just walking around with these archives in our muscles, just waiting for a stagehand to walk in so we can hit play. But this leads to the big question, the one that stumps everyone. Why? Why on earth do we repeat the bad stuff?
It's the million-dollar question.
I mean, if I had a critical parent, you'd think my unconscious would seek out a supportive, loving partner. The opposite. Why do we go back to the scene of the crime?
This brings us to one of Freud's most challenging ideas, Wiederholungszwang, the compulsion to repeat.
Even the word sounds intense.
It is a bit of a trap. See, we think that if we remember trauma, if we know it happened, we won't repeat it. But Freud realized the opposite is true. If we don't remember it fully, emotionally, not just as a fact, we are doomed to act it out.
So it's not a failure of memory.
It's a triumph of the unconscious.
The case of Dora was brought up here. She was one of Freud's famous patients, and her story just seems to illustrate this perfectly.
It's a cornerstone case, really. Dora came to Freud complaining of betrayal by the men in her life. She felt used, unheard, manipulated. But the fascinating part is she didn't just sit on the couch and tell Freud stories about it.
She reenacted it.
She reenacted the betrayal with Freud. She treated him like the men she hated. She tested his loyalty. She accused him. And eventually, she abandoned him. She quit therapy abruptly before he could abandon her.
So the therapy room became the theater.
It became a living theater. She wasn't saying, I was hurt once. She was saying, with her actions, I will now hurt you the way I was hurt, or I will force you to hurt me so I can prove I'm right.
But there's a twist here, isn't there? Because if we just stop there, it sounds like we're all just masochists.
Yeah.
But there's a hidden wish woven through this repetition.
Yes. And this is the tragic beauty of the human psyche. This is where you have to find some compassion for yourself. We don't restage the drama just to suffer again. We restage it because of this irrational, desperate hope that this time the story will change.
This time, the father might stay.
Exactly. This time the mother might see me. We are looking for a different ending to the same old script. We hire actors who look and feel just like the people who hurt us, and we try to direct them toward a happy ending.
But they haven't read the script.
They haven't.
No.
And when they inevitably act like themselves, they fail our test. And we don't just feel disappointment, we feel devastation.
Because the repetition has failed again.
And the wound reopens. It confirms the original trauma. See? Everyone leaves. See? I am unlovable. It reinforces the very belief you were desperately trying to disprove.
There's a line about this that
Wow.
says, "We are navigators steering by stars whose light left centuries ago, stars that may no longer even exist."
It's a profound image of how lost we are. We're reacting to a reality, a star map, that just isn't there anymore. The danger is gone, but we're still steering the ship to avoid rocks that aren't there.
Okay, so we have this powerful subconscious drive to repeat. But we also have these sophisticated ways of ignoring that we're doing it. The text calls them defenses, and it describes them as the psyche's immune system.
Right. That's a crucial distinction. If you try to point this out to someone or even see it in yourself, you hit resistance. And we have to respect resistance. It's not there because we're being stubborn. It's there to protect the wound.
So let's get into the tools this immune system uses. Projection is the big one we hear about. How does that actually look?
Projection is the primary architect of this distortion. It's when we take an internal conflict and turn it into an external drama. So let's say you have a deep, buried neediness that you were taught was shameful.
So you lock it in the basement.
You expel it, you project it onto your partner. Suddenly they seem suffocating, they seem demanding. You don't feel your own need, you see it as their demand.
So a simple text like, "When are you coming home?" feels like an attack.
It feels like an attempt to control your life. And of course, if you treat them like they're suffocating you, they get anxious and clingier.
Which confirms your theory, the self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, exactly. Then you have displacement, shifting an emotion to a safer target.
The dirty dishes example. This one made me laugh because it's just so relatable.
It's a classic. You find yourself screaming about dirty dishes in the sink. The rage feels real. Your heart is pounding. But the intensity is completely disproportionate to a fork.
It better be a really nice fork.
Chuckles. Even then, that disproportionate reaction is the clue. The trigger isn't the dishes. The dishes are just a convenient hook for the memory of paternal absence or maternal neglect. You're fighting a ghost, but you're yelling at a plate.
It's safer to yell at the plate.
Much safer. And then there's reaction formation. This one feels like a twist in a detective novel.
It's counterintuitive.
It is. It's converting an impulse into its opposite. Think of the fiercely independent person, the I don't need anyone, I'm a lone wolf type.
I might know a few of those.
Well, often, that extreme independence is a defense against a massive, terrifying desire for dependency. They're terrified of needing someone. But here's the interesting part. Who do they choose as partners?
You'd think other independent people.
But they rarely do. They choose clingy, needy partners.
Why? That sounds like their worst nightmare.
Because that partner carries the exiled part of themselves. They get to interact with their own dependency by proxy. They can despise the neediness in their partner while secretly staying close to it.
Wow. And this is all happening under the surface. It was also mentioned Wilhelm Reich and character armor. So it brings it back to the body again, doesn't it?
Reich was brilliant on this. He argued we wear our defenses as physical armor. If you learned as a child that speaking up got you in trouble, you might develop chronic tension in your throat.
A literal lump in your throat.
Permanent one. Or a rigid chest to armor against grief. So your throat tightens with a new partner before you even know why you're anxious. You're physically braced for a blow that was dealt 20 years ago.
This all sounds incredibly hard to untangle. I mean, if it's in our muscles, if it's rewriting our reality, are we just doomed? Is this a prison? It's starting to feel like a trap.
And here's the paradox. Transference is both a prison and a passage. It traps us, yes, but it is also the only way the unconscious can reveal itself. It's putting the clues right there in the room with you. If we didn't project it, we'd never see it.
So how do we use the clues? How do we get out? The text talks about the pause, which sounds so simple, but I suspect it's the hardest thing in the world.
It is the hardest thing. The way out isn't intellectual. You can't just think, oh, I see, I'm projecting my father onto my wife. That's just words. You have to catch it in the body.
Somatic recognition. So walk me through it. I'm in a fight. I'm feeling that throat tightening.
You stop. You pause. And this goes against every single instinct you have. Instead of attacking your partner for making you feel that way or withdrawing, you just stay with the sensation. You hover in the discomfort.
And you ask a question.
You ask, whose voice am I hearing in this silence? Or whose story am I living right now?
That requires so much presence. To be in the middle of a fight, feeling that surge of adrenaline and just stop.
It's incredibly hard. Freud called the process of doing this over and over again, Durcher by tongue, working through. It's not a one-time epiphany. You're not suddenly cured. It's a slow, slow process of encountering the pattern, pausing, and realizing this tightness is a memory. It's not about the milk my partner forgot to buy.
And when you do that, the partner changes.
The way you see the partner changes. You start to see the costume. You realize they're just a person. They aren't the ghost. The goal is to see them as another soul equally haunted, equally armored.
That seems like the ultimate form of empathy. To look at someone, maybe they really are being annoying in that moment, but realizing they're also just playing out a script they didn't write.
That's the quiet rupture we're aiming for. It's not a dramatic explosion. It's a moment of silence where the double doorway becomes visible to you. You realize, I'm shouting at my history, and this person is just standing here.
It breaks the spell.
It breaks the compulsion. You stop being a machine and start being a human.
So, to summarize where we've been, because this was heavy, we cannot escape transference. It is the condition of being human.
We can't delete the files, but we can change our relationship to them. We can move from compulsion, where we're just robots acting out a program, to choice.
The ghosts don't vanish.
No. But they become ancestors rather than directors. They stop calling the shots. They can be in the room, but they don't get to drive the car.
That distinction, ancestors versus directors, that's so helpful. It's about authority.
Precisely. It's about who is writing the story of your life now.
I want to leave our listener with a final thought, because it really is a challenge, something to try. Next time you are in a conflict, maybe tonight, maybe next week, and you feel that familiar surge, look for the double doorway.
Ask yourself, if the person in front of you is a vessel, what specific history have you poured into them today?
And what would happen if, just for a second, you let them step out of the costume?
That's where the freedom lies.
Thank you for diving deep with us.
My pleasure.
We'll see you on the next one.